In today's video we're going to delve a little bit deeper into the run and gun scene, figure out what's useful, what's bad, as well as how it actually should work. Now these videos actually stem from myself and the Rise of Brutality, testing out a variety of run and gun builds, from YouTuber specials to what we just feel and personally like, as well as what is actually working in the vast majorities of scenarios. We've narrowed it down to 2 or 3 builds, however there are a few things that we have absolutely certainly noticed. The first being, due to the close proximity of a run and gun build, the overall nature of it, 4-piece Hunter's Fury is just categorically your best bet. Sure, you can make do with other things, but due to the run and gun nature, Hunter's Fury with its 20% armor on kill, 100% health on kill, as well as CCing enemies is basically top tier. Not much is going to be able to compete with 1, regenning armor, regenning health, but 2, being able to CC enemies within close proximity, as well as allowing you to get up to 53.15% amplified damage on your damage, adding in a variety of other damage mechanics, such as your chest talent, your backpack talent, or the talent you have on your weapon. Not much really is able to compete with 4-piece Hunter's Fury. It is just that much more powerful than basically every other option in close proximity to enemies. Under those circumstances, we are playing a run and gun build after all. The next issue was the mechanic of how the build works. See, the big issue that we both discovered is a lot of the mechanics that people run with run and gun builds are on kill mechanics. So if you are with no buffs, none of your mechanics are up and running, and you run into a group of 5 enemies, you now have to kill something with no buffs or anything active in order to actually be able to be using the build that you have on. On kill mechanics under this circumstance are not particularly the best way to go. Having a way to engage that fight isn't going to be your biggest benefit to these sorts of builds. For example, this puts things like Bloodsucker immediately on the back foot. I've had so many people tell me Bloodsucker's amazing, Bloodsucker's OP. 1, it's only 10% armor, 12 if you're running perfect. 2, explosion damage is percentage based, so it actually doesn't matter how much that armor you have, explosions are still going to fuck you up. But then in order to deal with those explosions, you have to kill something, or preferably the thing that is actually going to explode. It is to this end that after silly amounts of testing, we have found that you actually don't really want anything more than 1 blue core. And the only reason we actually say 1 blue core is just quite simply, if you're going to run Bloodsucker, Liquid Engineer is most likely going to be the best bet. 1% armor regen, 12% bonus armor on kill, stacking 10 times. Trying to get a full red Liquid Engineer is going to be a slight issue, so the only reason we're actually really saying 1 blue core is just to alleviate the pressure of trying to get an absolute unicorn Liquid Engineer. So this is the build that Rise has come up with to utilise. It's utilising Chatterbox, 4-piece Hunter's Fury, Liquid Engineer with its 1 blue core, and then a Grupo Somber chest with crit chance, crit damage, and Intimidate. So the build that Rise has started to use is this: 4-piece Hunter's Fury, Liquid Engineer, Grupo Somber chest with Intimidate, and Chatterbox. He is running Gunner for a specialisation, and the simple reason for this is not the 10% armor on kill. We're getting 20 of them from Hunter's Fury. Now we have 30, which is nice. The real reason is the Banshee Pulse. This allows him to initiate the fight by disorienting a group of enemies. This means he's able to get close. However, it doesn't mean he's able to get close to utilise his Hunter's Fury perks. It means he's able to get close so that he can proc the incessant chatter buff on Chatterbox, allowing him to get some absolutely dumb RPM on the weapon. From here, he just proceeds to lay down an absolute smackdown on the enemies, pretty much unloading his weapon into the enemies' faces. The reason Chatterbox is so powerful here, and why I personally would also recommend it, is what I have noticed with a lot of run and gun builds. The thing that gets you killed, and in essence actually stops you being a run and gun build, is the reload. The moment you have to reload, chances are you're most likely going to die, or you have to run away, get into cover, reload, and then re-engage in the fight. Chatterbox completely mitigates this entire point, adding in the simple fact of where things are going to be disoriented from the start. We're able to get our first kill very easily, allowing us to get perfect Bloodsucker to proc, therefore proccing Intimidate, and then away we go. Get the first kill. If they're still disoriented, not a problem. If they're not, on that first kill, Hunter's Fury will disorient the rest of the group, allowing you to basically just do easy pickings and pick them off one at a time. Each time you get a kill, you will also be refilling 50% of your magazine with Chatterbox, so the more you're able to kill, the more your damage will go up with Hunter's Fury, meaning that you will be killing with less and less bullets each and every time, effectively meaning you have infinite ammo. I know some people are going to go, well, what about Lady Death here? Simply just because of Lady Death's magazine size. To put it simply, if you can't kill anything in one magazine, you are literally better off running anything that you can kill in one magazine. Chatterbox, for example. The buff for Lady Death only accounts for 32 bullets. You have a 32 round magazine. If you're unable to keep the buff constantly active for basically every bullet you fire, Lady Death isn't really worth it. Up next, we have near enough the same build, but we're swapping Liquid Engineer for Memento, and the chest has gone from being Intimidate to Obliterate. We're still utilising Chatterbox. The overall mechanic here is mostly the same, apart from we are now using Firewall. The reason we're using Firewall is for the Striker Shield, which has its own amplifier on it. And the reason we're going to be utilising the Firewall Shield is because with Memento, we get a tier 2 shield straight off the bat, allowing us to use the shield for 1, a little bit of protection, 2, it allows us to utilise the amplifier from the Striker Shield a little bit more freely, which will in turn allow us to make up the damage we have lost from going from Intimidate to Obliterate. Obviously, this is slightly mitigated by Memento's buff for the actual overall weapon damage. However, this is only going to be an increase of about 30% if you are at maximum stacks. We're not going to look into the short buff just simply because it's not up often enough to actually really make that much of a difference. And finally, we basically have the king of solo run and gun. Again, we're still using Hunter's Fury, we've still got Memento, but this time we have a chain killer. Everything is rolled to headshot. We are pairing this with a Regulus and an M870. Now, the reason this build works in a nutshell is you one-shot everything. It doesn't actually matter. All you have to do is get one kill, which is easy to do. Just find a red, pop him in the head. Your Regulus will do it, your M870 will do it. Even purples will die in a good shot to the head, utilising the M870 from one bullet with no stacks from Headhunter. From here, now that we have one stack, everything is fair game minus chungers and named elites. You will need to be at maximum stack for these. Other than that, it literally is just point shoot. Everything will die in one bullet. It is absolutely ridiculous. This allows us to essentially continually proc the 20% armor on kill, giving us a face tanking ability because we're able to kill things very quickly and easily. And then from here, we're going to be proccing Disorient pretty much continuously. The reason these three builds work is quite simply they have a good mix of on-kill buffs and immediate damage buffs. As soon as you're in range, Hunter's Fury will give you a 20% amp. The Striker Shield will immediately give you an amplifier as long as you're in range. We're playing run and gun, being in range shouldn't be an issue. Chatterbox's RPM buff is procced by reload, and being in range, the refill on the magazine is procced by killing. The Banshee Pulse is procced by you actively activating the skill so you don't need to kill. In a nutshell, it's the on-kill bonuses. For me at least, it is quite simply, it's in the name, run and gun. You can't run if you can't gun, and if you've got too many blue cores as well as on-kill bonuses, you can't do this, which means you're not going to be at your maximum potential for the majority of the time. You're going to lose a lot of it. To hopefully drive this point home, this is IKEA's Tet Tank, which a lot of you did reference, which is correct. If you don't know, this is the build that IKEA, one of the OG math geniuses, uses to take casual strolls in and around legendary missions. He is very, very hard to kill with this build. It is a perfect example of a run and gun build. However, what some of you aren't realizing is this completely emphasizes my point. Flatline is immediately applied on pulse. Heartbreaker is immediately applied on hitting, not killing, hitting a pulsed target. The only thing here that he has that is an on-kill bonus is effectively Memento, and this lasts for 300 seconds. So as long as he doesn't die, it starts off being on-kill, and it very quickly just becomes a passive thing that he just has walking around with him. If we were to change Heartbreaker to be killing a pulsed enemy provides 10 stacks, for example, this build just flat out wouldn't work because he won't have the capability, the damage and the performance to be able to get those first few initial kills to even build up the stacks. Maybe on challenging, possibly heroic, but certainly not on legendary. Now, I am not saying run and gun builds do not work, but the vast majority of run and gun builds are not worth your time. I have direct first-hand experience of how powerful a run and gun build can be. Here is the screenshot from the leaderboard. We have a 6 minutes 36 second legendary DUA run. This is all utilizing run and gun, the Headhunter's Fury build, which is this 4-piece Hunter's Fury, Chain Killer, and then the gift backpack, everything rolled to headshot. We don't have any blues, everything is just red, which hopefully does also drive home the point that I've been making for some time now, is dead enemies don't shoot back, unless Reanimator's on. Anyway, that is going to do it for this video. Have fun, good luck, don't die, it's bad for the health.